All right, this week joining us, you may know him as the High Chief, the Barn Owl, Stiff Robo Ginger. He's unsigned and doesn't care. It's Gary J.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Welcome. All right.
You know,
This is a
after
big
this
get.
Saturday, he could be the IWGuide champion too. So
I
like
like how you
that.
said could be. I will be. There's no worry about that.
Oh, oh,
I like that.
this
A
is
little
true. This is
confidence.
true. All
Sure.
right,
A
yeah.
little
This is
confidence.
Sure.
No, it's a lot of confidence. Come on now.
But the real question is, do you really want to carry that belt around? That's the real, like, I don't want it. I don't know. Do you want it? Like, is that really what you want to do? Keep that in the
Yeah, I'll,
bag?
I'll just put wheels on it and drag it behind me.
Well, shit. So I am very excited to have you on because I like when we have some really seasoned guests as far as the indies go, and you are just in general your career spanned several decades, and I've been watching wrestling. I'm older than the crew, and we talk a lot about how I've been watching. I'm on in New York, so my wrestling's East Coast. There's been Ring of Honor sprinkled in there, not as much IWA, Mid South, like all those different Southern promotions I didn't get a chance to enjoy when I was younger. And you've seen a lot of these, and you've gone through a lot of the indies as they are now. So it's a long question to get into to start, but your thoughts as far as where the indies are right now and like your place in the indies. Where do you feel you are at this point?
My place in the Indies.
Yeah.
That's interesting because once again, I don't really think about it as this like long storied career, but obviously, if you do any Googling or research, you like this guy's kind of been around a while.
Yeah.
I've overstayed my welcome. Goodbye. So like, it's one of those things where like things were a lot harder, the early years on the indies, but to me that was better. Uh I don't mean this in like a bullying way or like a really shitty way, but I feel a small sense of gatekeeping needs to come back to wrestling because nowadays everybody gets involved in the business and as you see that does not pan out well.
Mm.
I'm just being real and I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
trying to like shit on anybody or like but I'm not gonna lie, like it's at the point now to where like wrestling is for everybody to watch or spectate, but being in ring, wrestling's not for everybody. And
Hmm.
that's just how I feel. And if that offends you, well then sucks for you. But like
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. But on the sense of like morale and like the way things are now, like locker room wise, like it's so much better. You
Hmm.
know, it's okay to be welcoming, but it's still okay to have your guard up until you learn some things. But like in the early 2000s, it was the fucking Wild West. It was insane. So like, I'm glad that aspect of it is completely gone because nowadays, like, wrestling's everywhere. Wrestling's like the best fucking form of entertainment or art or sports like there is.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like I like both aspects of like back then and now.
So you say the how everybody's involved, and yeah, we can joke about it too because every asshole has a podcast. Every kid has found a school. So back when you were doing it originally and talk about in the South, did you yourself keep like kayfabe? Did you have a character that you're like, no, I'm not giving this away tonight to somebody. I'm walking through the parking lot. We're not doing that. We're not having that conversation. Did you feel like you in your head were more doing that then, and now it's more easy accessible as far as I'm coming up to you to get a picture or a shirt or an autograph? Back then, I mean, even 2000s, mid 2000s was more like the internet already exposed a lot. But did you feel like you owed it to yourself when you were starting off to do that?
It just depended. Like back then and now, if someone ever come up to me for a picture or an autograph, I'm always gonna be like, "Yep, that's cool." Like because at the end of the day, like I play this character, or
Yeah.
this being. Like I'm not gonna deny some kid and his family, that his family brought, young Fred to the show. Like I'm not
Hmm.
gonna tell Fred to fuck off. Like come on. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, they're paying me because they're
Hmm.
buying a ticket or buying merch.
Yeah.
And like now, if I was on like television in like that time period with a character like The Undertaker, of course I'd keep kayfabe.
Mm-hmm.
A little different though. I'm an independent professional wrestler. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay to still have fun. It's okay still to, poke at yourself. You don't got to be Mr. Serious 24 hours a day.
Yeah. So, okay, so you do say that. And then let me ask you about another question regarding those days. Like, do you feel like even I hate calling them like death matches, but do you feel like that style has evolved, or do you feel like that style is still the same?
It's definitely evolved for the better.
Okay.
Like, you have people out there now that do death matches that have no clue what they're doing, and it's absolutely terrible. And I'm shocked they're allowed to do it because, once again, there's that small sense of gatekeeping that, like, hey, knock that shit off. You don't have a clue what you're doing. Maybe learn how to wrestle first.
So, but when you say that, like, what do you mean by? So, I'm always curious because we've had a lot of guys on. There's a lot of guys we're friends with that we talk to. They're like, "Holy shit, dude, this guy screwed up." When you say doesn't know what they're doing, you're talking about like, is there a fear aligned to it? Is there a technique aligned to it that they're not
Yes,
doing?
like, I'm not a deathmatch wrestler, but I know many of the good deathmatch wrestlers. All like John Wayne Murdoch and me.
Yeah, you've been
each
around
other
a lot of them.
a long time.
Yeah.
There's a person that is a very good professional wrestler and a very good deathmatch wrestler. To me, you need to be a better professional wrestler before you even try to be a deathmatch wrestler. And during COVID, everybody's like, well, no one's paying attention. Here, hit me over the head with shit for no fucking reason. Now it's just like like you said, everybody starts a podcast. Everybody wants to be a deathmatch wrestler because they're getting clout or they're getting those Twitter points. Well, those aren't going to pay your fucking hospital bills, like. And I get it. Like, it's very harsh, but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that case, then and I saw a lot in the beginning, like IWA stuff, right? You did Mid South and things like that.
Yep.
Is there anything right now that you would compare that you enjoy doing as much or enjoy doing in that same vein of that world? Is there something that compares to it at this point or no?
Like IWA, like, say what you want about the person that ran it,
Mhm.
like, good, bad, and ugly. I've dealt with them on numerous occasions, but like, I feel anybody that's a great wrestler or anybody that's done anything has been through those doors, regardless of if they got paid or not or whatever the story may be. A lot of people cut their teeth in there, and when he was running weekly shows, so many people got weekly reps 2 or 3 times a week. And then, obviously it kind of just went to the shits like right at the tail end of it. But like, so many guys got weekly reps in front of people that knew what they were doing and learned from people there that knew what they were doing. So like, I believe my like second match ever out of Mid South was Necro Butcher. You want to talk about getting thrown in the fire?
Yeah.
Right there, you're on fire. And like, that's to test your metal to see, okay, like, you play this tough guy or tough kid or whatever, let's see, let's see what you can do. And well, you want to talk about a real fight, there's a real fight right there. And there's a very sink or swim world.
Yeah.
To me, I still think that's needed at times. Maybe not to that degree, but it's still needed.
Still need someone to slap someone in the mouth every once in a while and feel it.
Occasionally,
Just like real life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's tough until they get punched in the face at least once. So you got to do it at least once, right?
You hit me in the face once, I'm gonna fall. I'm not gonna back up. It's fine.
So in all those companies that you worked in that first, like, let's say decade of your career, which ones stood out the most to you as far as where you had the most fun or where you cut your teeth the most? Like, which one of those companies would you say, or how many of them would you say that you were like, yeah, these were great. I wish I was still seeing those.
Well, LWA was my home, Lethal Wrestling Alliance, and if you know the history of LWA, that actually ended up turning into St. Louis Anarchy, which is still a current thing that I'm
Mhm.
a very, very big part in. So that's home. That's
Mhm.
always going to be home. I cut my teeth there. I learned there. I've grown there. I've helped so many people go through those doors and learn and get them where they wanted to go. So, like, overall, that company that has been around for so long, just two different names, Lethal Wrestling Alliance, St. Louis Anarchy. So that's always home. That's always going to be home. Going to IWA every Thursday for a while was great because at the time I was younger. I didn't have as many responsibilities. I can just go hit the road for a couple of days. Was it financially gaining? Absolutely not. But
Yeah.
did I learn a lot and learn a lot of the ins and outs and what to do and what to not to do? Absolutely. So I'll credit IWA for that. Also met Aaron Williams at IWA. So there's something. Now he's pretty much my brother that happens to live in Ohio. you know, so like I credit IWA to like a lot. Obviously, people want to tarnish the name, but it had a purpose and it was really good for a while.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about what TPI 2004. I mean, that's like one of the most recognized professional wrestling tournaments ever. I mean, you look at the names in that one, fucking stacked. But so you IWA early years. It's weird because like the early years were me just traveling around getting reps in at a lot of shit shows, but I didn't care. It was work. I was wrestling in front of an audience and I was learning.
Mm-hmm.
So like the names of the companies aren't even really around anymore, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. What states? Any place that you particularly liked or felt like you had a place besides Missouri or something like that?
Well, it's funny because I really don't wrestle in Missouri much. I wrestle in Illinois, literally right across the border, because like in Missouri you need to be licensed and you jump through 37 hoops just to make a little money. It's sometimes it's not worth it.
Same here in New York. It's impossible to run shows. Impossible.
Yeah, they got the commission and everything.
Yeah.
Which I think it's good for a couple of things, but it's a different conversation.
We can get into that too. It doesn't matter. You can go off the rails, do whatever you like. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I'm very opinionated.
Yeah.
But man, I did a lot of like Illinois stuff. Early years was a lot of Missouri. GCW, not the one that's nationally known, but Gateway Championship Wrestling was another home of mine in St. Louis. It was Lethal Wrestling Alliance and Gateway Championship Wrestling. That's where I ended up meeting like Delirious, Matt Seidel, Dingo, who's pretty much like an icon legend in the Midwest, currently retired. I owe a lot to them, but like I started going to GCW shows when I was in high school, just as a kid, and I'd go, "Oh man, independent wrestling's awesome," and then eventually bleeds over into like pretty much eat, breathe, and sleep it. But so like GCW, just not the one that everybody knows now. That's another good one that I got a lot of like reps in and met a lot of people. But that, like I said, that was all Missouri because I didn't do a lot of traveling far the first couple of years. Texas still is home for me. I'm there actually a lot recently. Anarchy Championship Wrestling. So that's like 2006 or 7 is when I started going down there. That's when I really started committing and going on these 14, 15-hour car rides one way. But like, just part of the game,
Yeah.
I first saw you as part of like the Submission Squad. You were doing stuff with them.
Yep. Well, ironically, the Submission Squad runs St. Louis Anarchy.
Right.
So
yeah, it was. I want to say you were in like AIW a couple shots.
In Ohio.
Yeah, AIW is what we mostly watch. So that's like our big one.
They've like grown so fucking much. It's so cool to see.
So one of the things, one of the former owner, Chandler Piggins, his mom listens to the podcast every week. And so when we have people on that were around when he was around, she always likes to hear, do you have any fun Chandler Piggins stories?
Not anything in particular other than like he was always cool, awesome, just to bullshit and sit around with, because like we weren't really from Ohio, so we still had like an 8.5, 9-hour drive to and then back after the show. But like it's funny because we did the King of Trios 2009, the Submission Squad versus myself and Davey Vega. And like it's funny to talk about now, but like that was such a hit to us personally in our careers because it was also at the ECW arena on one of the biggest tournaments in professional wrestling probably ever. I mean, the names on that King of Trios, I think we had to go out there before or after that 4-way that was with like Generico, Ibushi, one of the Young Bucks, and Jigsaw. Good luck following.
I just saw that match actually yesterday.
It's incredible.
Posted it. Yeah, it's crazy.
And yeah, exactly. So like, and then you have like young us just sitting in the locker room going, "Yeah, we don't belong here. Well, what are we doing here?" But anyways, so we bombed. We get booed out of the ECW arena. That's the life accomplishment. So eventually AIW books us for what is it? I forgot what they called it. They had their own trios tournament they were starting, and they booked us as like like a shtick, like, oh, they're gonna get booed. And then we actually did pretty good. And then we kind of just started a relationship after that with them. And like they'd always treat us well. Chandler was always awesome. And like it's been years since I've been there. And like, man, I was just like the other day I was actually thinking, I was like, God, there's so much I could probably do there now. Because I'm completely different beast now than I was then. You know, I'm a whole different thing.
Right.
What do you do now? What do you think is different? Like as far as do you mean as far as your athleticism, or what do you do now differently in your move set or personality?
It's kind of a little bit of everything. Well seasoned, well
Mm-hmm.
seasoned. I'm probably overcooked at this point. But like, well, I know what I'm doing. I really think I connect with an audience with what I do, with like my vibe and like my whole presentation, because that's a huge part of it. And I think like I can go out there and have a good match with anybody. And I think that's very important. And that's one of those things that's like lost on having a good match is lost on, because everybody's so worried about the gifts and like the internet. It's like, well, there's a live audience too. Like, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
But like,
Did
just
you
go out there and produce.
did you do no holds barred? Were you in the chains?
Yeah,
You did.
That's like a
He's
whole
done that a bunch, and he
Yeah,
actually
Yeah, I
did-
just wanted to
he
make sure,
just
'cause I
wrestled Bobby
remembered-
Beverly actually.
Yeah. The shows just seem to blend in now. We watch so much wrestling, but I was like, oh, I remember him doing the chain. So I'm just.
Oh yeah, I just wrestled the Bev in Chattanooga in the pit.
That's right.
Another one. I've known him for ever. You know.
Yeah, he can do a little bit of everything, Bev. I enjoy him a lot.
Yeah, he's
He's
pretty
very
much my
good.
neighbor at this point. So like he got me like into the business a little bit. So it's always fun catching up with him. I just saw him the other day and we were talking about it. And he mentioned that he had just wrestled you because I told him that you were coming to wrestle for the belt. So
Yeah.
As you said, Gary, anybody can get into the business. Fucking Butters.
Yeah, but
Fucking
the Bev's another
guy.
great example of a guy
Right.
who's a great professional wrestler and a great deathmatch wrestler.
right.
Exactly, because him and Eric Ryan used to be.
Yes.
What was their tag name?
Fuck.
Damn it.
Young Studs.
The Young Studs, yeah.
The
Young
Young
Studs.
Studs.
Yeah.
That's when we met them. When they both had long hair for the most part. Eric Ryan had long hair, and like Eric's another guy from Ohio that I've known a long time. Like that whole Ohio crew, like those two, Ricky Shane Page, which is another guy that's like very opinionated, but he's not wrong most of the time. He's a very good professional wrestler, and he's a really good deathmatch wrestler. But he was a good professional wrestler before he was a deathmatch wrestler. So
I've never seen someone bleed as much as Eric Ryan on the first No Holds Barred in Jersey. He did the No Holds Barred 1, and it escapes me who he wrestled, but he bled so much that night, and it was everywhere. I mean, that was the time they put these platforms on top of the of the third ring, and he's standing up there, and I have pictures because I was in the balcony of him. It was everywhere. Like, and to this day, people talk about him, and I'm like, that dude bled so much in New Jersey. Like, he could have had a transfusion in Jersey, could have left it on the floor. He bled so much. But it was amazing because I did not picture that after watching him wrestle with Bobby Beverly in AIW.
exactly. Oh yeah, like he turned into a beast in the deathmatch world, and like I haven't seen him in a while, but I don't. Is he hurt? I don't know if he's hurt or he's just taking time off, which completely understand.
Do you have a favorite, not even opponent, just somebody that you get to an arena and you're like, yeah, this dude's on the card right now? Like, especially with how seasoned you are and how much you've seen. Who's your favorite?
Aaron Williams. Who do you think?
Aaron Williams.
I mean, he's my brother, and like, I don't mean that like a brother business sense.
Yeah.
He's, like, truly a good fucking person, and like a good guy.
Anybody that you would say to somebody, hey, check this kid out? Like, do you do a lot of like watch a lot of wrestling, or do you just say, you know what, I'm wrestled out after I go?
Oh no, no. I watch a lot of it. Like, I'm not one of these people that's like bitter and hates everything. Oh, I don't watch wrestling. Sure, you fucking do. You're in the business. Get fucked. Like you watch professional wrestling. Oh, I watch it all the time. Netflix on Raw lately.
Yeah.
It's been fucking awesome. Like, I'm excited for what they're doing.
Oh, thank God you said that. These guys kill me for watching.
We make fun of you for watching NXT, but you actually watch it and care about it.
I watch it I don't miss. Wrestling's on in my house every single day. There's something on every day at this point.
Like, Stark just showed up. Actually, we talked about him in the opening. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So like it kind of morphs into like I'm helping a lot more people now. Like I'm like a teacher, but I don't have a school. Like your schoolroom with me is sitting in a fucking car and me keeping you awake as you drive. So like
that's
so like
old school shit that's lost right now. Regular today, I have no idea how beneficial it is to get in the car with somebody who's got more experience than you and just pick their fucking brain.
Yeah, exactly. And like some people get it, and the people that get it do it, and you already see those people starting to like really like blossom and like get their name out there or whatever the word is now. You know, they're not worried about like anything but put miles and getting reps, because that's how I did it. And by all means, I'm not a billionaire, and I'm probably never going to be a billionaire, but I can at least say I've done things my way, and I've lived my dream for fucking 20 plus years now.
We've noticed the kids that we've had on, because we do a lot of months where we're taking on students to do interviews for a lot of first time interviews. They have zero road stories, and it's hard to get the interview, over that hump. And we have guys in here who are seasoned like yourself, and other guys who come in and just give us these road stories, and they are a blast. And you just hear how it molds them friendship wise, business wise, how much time they've spent grinding out, and you're like, okay, that's the thing that we need. The young guys who come on, go on the road for a year or two, and then come back and we'll listen to stories, and then then you'll have something for us. So
yeah, definitely. Because I think a lot of people now think it's weird if you're going longer than 3 or 4 hours in the car. Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, do you just want to sit in your home area? That's great if that's what you want, but like, don't bitch and moan about everything else around you that's happening when you're like, well, how do you do that? You open that car door, you get in, you sit down, you buckle up, and you shut the door.
Yep.
And the rest is pretty easy. It gets boring, yes. And does it get like, do I get homesick all the fucking time? But like, I chose to do this. This didn't choose me. So like, I get it. I can rant and rave and bitch and moan, but I choose to do this. So when I don't want to like do it one day, don't know how that really goes, like, then I don't do it.
Does your family come out? Was your family behind you in the beginning, or do you have a crew?
I'm not like family as in like, I'm not really close to anybody in my like actual blood relative family, but like the people I consider family are kind of a part of the business.
Okay.
And then so like it just kind of morphed into that. So like I have a very good support system now. It's amazing. And if I didn't have that support system and those people around me all the time pushing me or being there for me or like taking care of stuff at home for me when I'm not fucking home, then it would fall apart. So like it's one of those things where like it's not just a me thing, it's a we thing. A lot of like what I do, it takes an army. Because like I said, it's just not like, oh, okay, I go wrestle and I'm home automatically. Like sometimes it don't work like that.
Yeah. Butters?
Jayhawk, you want to go ahead and go?
Yeah. Honestly, Jay Gold hit some of the stuff I wanted to hit anyway, because I don't have I
talk a lot. Sorry, Jayhawk.
No, you're fine.
I usually let him go because I have like a whole list of like the stuff I like to hit all the way down. It's just a solid list.
No, you're fine. But we talked earlier about how IWA Mid-South, you were getting those reps in every week. With there not really being any kind of weekly place to do that anymore, what's your advice for the younger guys to get those reps that they need?
Anybody that's in St. Louis, like I tell them, just get in the car, and anybody that listens to me eventually will travel with me, and they might not get on the show at first, but if I go to this place monthly or more than monthly, they'll end up getting on. It's already happened. But like actually 01 USA runs a weekly Thursday show an hour and a half away from St. Louis. And a lot of people that want to get reps every Thursday do it. Anakin Murphy usually is in charge of like those car loads and like booking those people because he's helping out there on Thursdays. But yeah, that's a Thursday gig, an hour and a half away from St. Louis, where, so you're wrestling in front of 15 to 20 people. Absolutely. But you're in front of different people and you're in a ring, and you're actually getting like a show, like experience.
Yeah, we used to have a weekly deal not too far from here in a bar, a little shithole bar every Tuesday night. But I loved working those shows. But you got to see how creative people were, but they got to keep it fresh and to gain people in the crowd every week.
Yep, exactly.
And to me, that's the best way to learn.
We have like 880 in Pittsburgh now that they do a weekly show on Thursdays. So there's a couple small places out there that do them weekly shows, and I think you can tell a lot of the time when their talent hits, like they have a handful of guys that have been doing it for like 2 years now, and they're miles above guys that just do it monthly. I mean, you can tell they've got those reps in weekly, and it shows.
Oh, absolutely. It kind of speeds the process up, like it makes you sharper, or was it iron sharpens iron is what people say. Like,
But I think sometimes those dudes, some of these schools that have their shows and they wrestle only each other, I think it becomes after a while a detriment that they're not getting
yep.
the rest of those reps from somebody different.
No, agreed.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to go out there and wrestle their friend. Well, yeah, it's fun. It's great because you feel you're going to have good chemistry. But then the flip side of it is like you can't control it all the time. You get booked and paid to show up to a show and wrestle said guy. You can't go, well, I want to wrestle my friend. It's like, okay, well, then you go home. Like, we didn't book you for that. Like, we booked you for this. And, like, you got to learn that, like, that's where those reps with anybody comes in, good, bad, and ugly. Like, I think everybody should go out and have bad matches because then you learn from those matches.
Any stinkers you can remember, like, where you were just like, holy shit, you left and just like shook your head?
I don't have names or promotions, but let's say, like, the first 5 years of my career. Like, come on, like... I didn't really feel comfortable in my skin until like 2015 or 16, and I started in 2003.
Wow.
I was going to actually ask you about that. You bring that up and it came to because I've been thinking about this. Do you find it like, so we watch so much TV wrestling, the guys who are on like WWE, AEW, a lot of the guys who have figured out their characters are what they call older in the business, right? 38, 39.
Yeah.
You think it takes until you're in your mid 30s to say to yourself, now I know who I am and this is when I know I'm at my best, because everyone's like, oh, this guy's old. We can't sign him. Why? The older guys seem to know who they are better than the younger guys, right?
Yeah. Like, it depends what company you're looking at. Like, the WWE might want to sign younger people just so they can coach them, coachability.
Right.
That's just from my experience and what I've seen, which I think is very smart. But I think, yeah, it just takes time to really figure out who you are or what you want out of this. Like, a lot of people are so, like, early on in their career, they're like, well, I need to get signed. It's like, well, if that happens, that's amazing. That's great. But if it doesn't, then where do you go? What do you do? It's like you're going to fucking beat your body up for a contract that you're not going to get. Well, you might as well just stop now. Like, you got to be real with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, it's funny because that's kind of how Unsigned and Don't Care started. With me and Aaron, it's just like we were in so many locker rooms together and we became really good friends, and we have very similar philosophies on, like, wrestling. And then, like, he's amazing anyways, and I always like working with him. I was like, why don't we just, like, do this? And I jokingly, he's like, oh, we're just Unsigned and Don't Care. We were goofing off in the locker room. And then I was like, fuck it. I'm going to see if we can market that and just see what happens and go from that. Because it's not like, I don't have a problem with people that are contracted, because most people contracted wrestlers are amazing. They're I've been in locker rooms with them, or I've been in the ring with them. But for me, it's not about being under a contract that, like, makes wrestling great. Like, what makes wrestling great is, like, traveling, being a journeyman, and then going from town to town and actually putting on a show, not just, well, this promotion's not really that big on Twitter, so I don't really care. No, fuck that. You go out there and do your fucking job every goddamn night. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, if you want clout, then you go chase it, because it's never going to fucking pay your bills.
Was there ever a time that you and I'm sure this doesn't sound I don't want it to sound like pretentious or anything. Is there a time you ever said to yourself, like, you were in there with somebody and you're like, oh fuck, I can't put this dude is killing me. Like, I can't do this.
Yeah. Like, but I never spoke it.
Yeah.
And, like, because I have to realize and put myself in other people's shoes. Like, once again, I'm a very, like, D-list anything. Like, I'm just me, I know I'm good at what I do, and I'm very good at what I do, but, like, I'm humble for the most part. Like, I don't, unless you really talk to me in depth, you don't know I've been doing this so long. When people know, like, find out, they're like, whoa, yeah, because I'm not the old guy in the locker room yelling at the clouds. I do that in real life. So, like, yeah, I've been in the ring with some people that aren't quite up to snub, but it's my job to help them learn and get up to snub. So then you gotta flip the script and go, well, you know what? A learning experience. I'm not gonna get mad. Shit happens. What we do is so like 5,000 parts moving in one direction. Like, there's a lot that happens. So, like, you can't always get mad or pissy. You just have to be professional about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with you being in the business as long as you have been, do you prefer calling it in the ring, or do you prefer having a lot of stuff planned out?
Both. I'm okay with both. Like, it depends where I am, what my audience is. Like, in all reality, like nowadays, a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. That's fine. You know, if I'm there before the show, I'm not just gonna go hide. Like, I got nothing else to do. My merch is set up. What else can I do for 3 hours? You know, so it doesn't bother me at all. And if you watch wrestling on TV, like Raw, them motherfuckers are step by step. It's all in the ref's ear with an agent. And guess what? It's fucking awesome.
Yes, thank you. you two fucks.
Now, do you think the younger guys should learn how to call it in the ring just to know how to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think that's what you do with your weekly rep on Thursday. That's what you should be doing on your weekly shows. Like, okay, I've wrestled everybody on the roster. We've planned it out. Now go out there, call it in the ring. What's the worst that happens? That, like, it doesn't go well? You can go, okay, or go to training and call matches on the fly. Get that comfortability of knowing what you're doing. So if it ever happens when something doesn't go as planned, you know an audible and you know what to do.
I don't necessarily mind guys calling things out at a time. What annoys me is when guys are going over their match and they go, "I'll hit you with this," and then the crowd will be up for it. And you don't know what the crowd's gonna do. Do not put that in your fucking walkthrough.
Exactly. I usually say, and this is where they're supposed to cheer, but they won't, so I'm gonna leave. So
that's what we say when we record. We're like, and here's where we're supposed to get listeners, but they won't listen, so we just leave.
I go, yep, they're gonna love this part, or I'm gonna fall on my head and hopefully get a reaction. If not, then I'm gonna get up and go, what the fuck, and leave.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking forward to this match with you and Mikey on Saturday. But you and I have been in the business about the same amount of time, and we've never crossed paths. So I'm looking forward to getting a chance to work with you.
That's right. You're the referee. Yes.
Oh, it's gonna be a good time. I saw Mikey a couple months ago at Nap, I believe.
Yeah,
I was there with with Anakin, and I was just like, oh well, I'm here, so I'll hang out.
Right.
Yeah, he's been working out there off and on, and he's been all over, and this is like when Will and I were talking about like stuff, and Will started working with you, and he was like, we should put that together. I'm like, that would be really cool. I think that you guys have like a similar body type. I was like, you've been around for a really long time because you're like being a veteran, like getting in there with somebody young like him. He's been doing it for like 4 or 5 years at this point, but still like it's one of those things like you can always like learn things from people. So like I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. And you're a hard chopper, like you're known as a hard chopper. And so I know that's gonna happen in the match. And like I told Mikey, I was like, I'm sorry, whatever happens to your chest, there may end up being a consequence of me getting chopped maybe backstage after the fact. We've discussed this.
No, everything I'm seeing from like he's good. So like I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do.
So, all right, let's run through some of my goofy questions. What is the worst ring name you've ever heard?
The worst ring name. I don't know if I have a worst. I have kind of like a ring name story, which is funny. So I'll just tell that.
Okay.
Because, we used to me, Davey Vega, Pierre Abernathy, Evan Jalisco, and Matt Fitchett were in the car every weekend together, the 5 of us for years, like to the point to where like we always laugh, but like we were around each other more than we were around anybody else in our lives. So like, and that's another lost art is having an actual carload that travels that much together. Kind of unheard of nowadays. So like, we used to go to every mom and pop show. It didn't matter because we wanted reps and to learn. And like we'd always like goof off because like obviously when you go meet people for the first time, like the handshake brother bullshit, as I say. I laugh at it now, but like, hey, I'm Gary. Nice to meet you. But like, I love going to these places back then and go, "Hey, I'm Gary. Nice to meet you." And instead of them just telling me their real name, they go, "Oh, I'm Big Dog." I'm like, "Motherfucker, no, you're not." Like, does that say it on your fucking license?
The fuck you are.
Yeah, like, come on. I'm the fucking Redeemer. Okay, what? Fuck off.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like, and like, if your gimmick name is like Fred, okay, cool. I'd believe that, but I'm the fucking Night Stalker. Okay, sure you are. Like, cool. I'm gonna go not talk to you now. Leave me alone. So like that would happen to us all the time. So this guy comes up to Vega. Vega goes, "Hey, Davey Vega, nice to meet you." And like Vega's insane. Still is. I love him to death, but he's nuts. So like he goes and shakes his hand, and the guy looks right in his eyes and goes, "Big Dog, nice to meet you." And Vega looks right at him and goes, "The fuck you are." Because at that time it was a running joke, because it's like, that's not your real name. You could just say your name was like Bob, okay? Like,
yeah,
the Big Dog. Just like the ultimate, the Undertaker going Undertaker. It's like, no, I'm sure that's not how you introduce yourself, people.
yeah.
It's just laughable. It's like, just what's your real name? Just make a name up. It's not the Big Dog. You know? So if the Big Dog's listening, I'm barking up his tree, you know?
It's amazing how many people don't know my real name, and it's like I don't even hide my real name. It's on my Zoom right now. It's on all my socials. But hey, Jayhawk, how you doing? Like, no one knows my fucking real name. Like 4 people call me by my real name.
Yeah. You're a Hall of Fame ref. They should know your name, right, Jayhawk? That's just the way it goes.
You would think so.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. Butters, sorry.
All right. Let's see what else we want to talk about. What is the weirdest place you've ever wrestled?
Weirdest. San Antonio, outside of a bar. But like, for some reason, it was like not on the patio, but it was like a little farther from the patio. And like, it was like 32 degrees out because it was one of those weird Texas months. And like, once again, I don't remember the promotion's name. And like, I remember there was like a space heater in the locker room, but for some reason, whoever set the space heater up for us put it on a dead coyote. So like, the locker room smelled like a dead animal.
Oh my God.
Like, once again, I'm thinking to myself, this is what I'm doing in my life. No wonder I'm embarrassment. Like, fuck.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's like right out of a movie. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was weird. And like, just weird. Like, wrestling is so cool, but it also brings everybody out of the woodworks, and it just sometimes it's a little overstimulating.
Did you ever have to rough up a promoter that didn't want to pay or anything?
No, but we have taken said promoters to ATMs, or we've strong armed. But like,
oh, good, okay.
You had to back then. Nowadays, everybody's pretty on par because you have the instant. Oh, there's my notification of my pay app or whatever.
Yeah.
Back then, it was just like, oh, I talked to you on MySpace. So like, yeah, we'd have to hold people up, and like, because to me, it's like, sure, we're not worth thousands of dollars, but we are still trying to get gas in the tank and something to eat. It's not like we're trying to take your mortgage.
Yeah.
But right. if you said you had your money and then didn't, we'd have a problem. Mm-hmm. We actually did a show in Indiana, and it was the same. Like, the night, the guy messaged me the night, the promoter messaged the squad, or like me or whoever. I think I set it up. It was me, Pierre, Evan, Vega, and Fitchett. We were all doing a show that Saturday. The guy hits me up on Saturday night or Friday night and goes, "You guys still good?" I was like, "Yep, you guys." He's like, "As long as you got our money." He's like, "Yep, I just put it in the envelope." I was like, "Cool," because if you wanted to cancel us, that's fine, because the fucking Cardinals are in the Super Bowl tomorrow night, like Game 7 too. And like, nope, we're good to go. Okay. So we get to the show and we're like, well, yep, we're going to have to fight someone here because this guy's not going to have our money. The show was what it was. It was a show that happened. And then like, of course, guys, I don't have your money. It's like, oh, of course you don't, even though you straight lied to me yesterday and said it was in the fucking envelope. Could have stayed home. watch. I don't even watch sports, but this Vega could have watched his Cardinals fucking play baseball. Like, so then like Pierre and Vega get pulled into a bathroom with the promoter, and this guy's got like his goon. It's like another movie scene. Got his goons like standing around him, and the guy's like in the bathroom, and the guy's like, I don't have your money. And Matt's Pierre. Matt was like, okay, what's in your wallet? What's in your pocket? And Vega's like, yeah, like give us everything you got. And like I'm thinking, well, we're gonna have to go in there and fucking fight this gang of people. I believe Zach Gowen was also on that show.
Oh shit!
So long ago, like I haven't seen. Like I said, it's been a while, but like it was just a complete shit show. It was awful. I believe they rented the ring from somebody, and of course they didn't get paid either. So like all that went down. So yeah. So word of the wise: if you want to start a professional wrestling company, don't. Just don't.
I've been telling you that, Butter, for how long? You don't listen to me.
Yeah, you know.
Butters, I don't want Gary to have to fuck you up next week. So
Well, I'm not dumb. I'll make sure I have the money. I'm not going to tell
yeah,
everybody.
I just want to make sure, you know. Yeah.
What's the coolest place you've wrestled?
Oh man. I mean, regardless of the outcome, was the King of Trios 2009 was in the ECW arena. That was always a bucket list for like me. I'm a huge ECW guy. Obviously, like Spalding Hall, where St. Louis Anarchy runs, has become like this like Midwest version of like an ECW arena. It's a place people have to go to for like their ECW or their like arena bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've been to a lot of places. I've been lucky enough, like I said, there was. I'm trying to think. I don't remember the name of it, but like, I did WXW over in London 2 years ago, and like the Electric Ballroom, I think, is like where they all run. That place is awesome. Like I see it. I think GCW just ran there. Like that place is awesome. Man, Unsanctioned currently runs this place called Aces of Cups in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Been there.
That's like a really intimate, like / cool atmosphere, like just everything there. Like, so like there's a lot of places that like I still go to and they're still banging out shows that are like just cool atmospheres and like feels and vibes. It doesn't always have to be like a high school gym. I prefer like Chattanooga, TWE Arena. That's a cool one. That's where ICW runs. So yeah, there's like a lot of places that I've wrestled that I'm like, man, this is cool, and like the atmosphere is cool. Because at the end of the day, you can put a ring in any kind of fucking building, but if you can draw or you can brand an atmosphere, then like that's what makes it. That's what makes the show. The consumer, crazy to think.
Have you ever worked in a movie theater?
Yep. Yeah.
Done a couple of those. Those were fun.
Yeah. They're interesting because the ring's always on the stage.
Right.
And then, like you have that drop off. Like I like to be connected or try to connect with an audience. So it's kind of harder the farther you are away from them. But yeah, still like a different setting.
I remember that was at that movie theater for UXWA back in like 2019. They ran a theater, but I think they put the ring in front of the chairs instead of the
that
stage.
place was like falling apart too. There was
Right,
a very, very different vibe.
Yeah.
Like they were able to just like tear stuff out. That I think everybody that like was in that venue and worked that show is probably going to end up with like lung cancer in 20 years.
That's right.
Jesus.
YOLO.
So you're coming back from a show. Are you going to hit like a Sheetz or a Waffle House? Or which one do you prefer?
And I'll just name the places that I hate: Waffle House, Wawa. Let's see. Another big. Oh, Raising Cane's is garbage.
Oh my God, Cane's is great.
Absolute trash. That goes out to everybody that knows me. If I'm going out to like the East Coast or Ohio or anything there, I'm going to Sheetz 5 times, all the time. I'm a Sheetz.
Right. I have no issues with Sheetz. I love it.
Oh, you should.
Yeah,
you should.
Yeah, we drive in from New York to Ohio when we go to AIW shows. My brother and I, or I drive alone, or I take my daughter, and we stop at Sheetz. Just got to order Sheetz every time we go there. I think
it. there was a weekend out in the East Coast I did. I think my record was like 6 or 7 times I went. Yeah, I have a problem.
Yeah, on Route 80, you go to so many sheets on your way
Oh,
across
yeah.
the country. Yeah.
But
Rhino Kasheet guy.
yeah,
Oh, is
she's
he?
great.
All right, I got 2 more here.
All right.
One, what is the craziest fan interaction you can remember having? Just something that was just completely off the wall, could be creepy. Because I've run into some of the really weird people at crowds sometimes that just
I don't know, like I don't know. I tried to be very open minded when it comes to the audience or the crowd, but like social media makes it to where everybody knows everything and they can just look at your life, which at the same time, like what you post it can be up to you. It's one of those things where like the only boundaries I have when it comes to my life, like obviously I talk about on my Facebook more than about like my personal life, a little more than like any other social media. But I don't like when people come up and like instead of talking about wrestling, which this is what we're here for, this is what we have in common, or maybe music or sports, which those are like the three most people have in common. They just try to talk about like my personal life, which I'm like, I don't know why we're talking about this. I really don't want to. Like, why don't we talk about like fucking WrestleMania 12? Like so yeah, I don't have any like crazy stories, just randomness of like people, you know, talking about my personal life. Like, I don't mind someone asking a question, but like we don't need to conversate for 20 minutes about it because like I clearly don't want to.
There's nothing wrong with that.
so you're
No.
considered like one of the hardest choppers in wrestling, but who do you think is the hardest chopper that you've ever faced?
Let's see. Um Michael Strider, he's a Kansas City guy. He's more of a Midwest guy. Roderick Strong.
Definitely
Uh,
heard him a few times for sure.
yeah, yeah. Who else was there?
You ever wrestle Walter?
No, cameo from Pebbles the cat. Uh, no, like he was like on his way out right as I was like figuring me out. So like it would have been great.
Yeah, I was going to wonder what you thought of his chops, but
I love Walter's work or Gunther. He's fucking man. That's the guy. JD Drake chops really hard, but we've never had a singles, just tags. Man, who else is there? Oddly enough, Aaron Williams chops really hard. He kicks harder. Don't let him kick you. Anakin Murphy nowadays has got a pretty good one. Like father, like son, as I say. I don't know, like a lot of random people that wouldn't be known have really hard chops, and then like the ones that you're terrified of, they're like fucking pillows. It's weird.
Yeah, I've heard like Gunther's chops are just loud, but they don't actually like hurt. Whereas like
Yeah.
he said Penta was the hardest chopper he's ever.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Penta does
like,
the overhand,
of
and he
course.
says that's what hurts the most is that overhand.
Yeah, I call that like the lucha chop. Yeah,
like Keith Lee when he does that two-handed.
Yeah.
I miss that dude. That was my favorite move. I used to pop so loud when he did that. Oh, I love that two-handed chop. Is it technique that makes it? Yeah, I mean you're trying to lay it in, but you're trying to make it sound right? So is it just technique on what you're doing?
A little bit of that, and a little bit for me, like with who I am, just swinging for the fences.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so like that's good. I like that. That works.
Like I said, I told Mikey, I was like, if you get your chest, chopped to meat, was like, I will take a couple chops as well.
Just buy him some sheets. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure he's very happy to hear that you'll take some chops after he limps
I
out
mean,
of there.
I kind of want to just to put it up on the Patreon just because just one of those things. Like I think I want to say it was at one of the AIW shows that you actually did chop a fan.
Oh yeah, that was at like the Ted Petty Invitational.
Yeah.
Like, many moons ago. And that's another thing. Like that was probably the last time I did it because I get asked all the time to do it, and I always say no now. I just no, not my thing.
Why did you kill him?
No, yeah, I obliterated this poor bastard's chest, and it was just one shot. And like, but like wrestling's so different now, where I stay away from that. Like, a lot of people get drunk. Here, I'll give you money to hit. Nope, I'm good. Please stop. Like, go outside and smell some fresh air. Like, you don't need this.
Yeah.
I remember working a show about 10 years ago or so. Wound up being like two of the guys on the card who went their first pro match or fresh out of training. So after the show with their chop day, and they asked me to go ahead and chop them. I'm like, I don't want to do the chop day. Do the chop day, fine, whatever. And the one guy, the skinny little referee, go, oh, okay, it's gonna be nice. I did the fucking lucha chop. He still pissed at how hard I hit him.
Yeah, I mean,
Jayhawk, you got moves too, Jayhawk? Who would have thought?
I have an overhand chop that I use like once every 5 fucking years, and I have no intention of ever using it anytime soon.
that's okay. Just bring it out at WrestleMania. You'll be
Use
fine.
it in the match next week when you're reffing.
No,
Maybe hit Gary with one.
no. Because we'll give me a repeat. No.
And do it to Sid.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Anyway, Butters, you got anything else?
Well, that was it, man. I just
All
wanted to
right.
talk about chopping people.
I love it. Well, Gary, I honestly I could talk to you for I really want to pick your brain more because I like to get really back in the day. I just watch so much wrestling and to find somebody who is such a veteran of the business. It's really been nice talking to you.
Hey, that's a big word. Let's just say I've been around a while and I have nothing else to do.
It's great. It's great. So you got plugs for us so that we can plug all the shows you're going to be on?
Well, I think first and foremost, let's plug Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Neo Pro Wrestling, White Noise.
Yeah,
for the IWGuide Championship.
Yes,
yep. I'm gonna win it, and I'm gonna put wheels on it, and I'm gonna fucking wheel that motherfucker right in the sheets.
And you're going overseas coming up. You're going
Yeah.
over. You got a UK tour coming up.
Yep. Ironically, my last booking in the States is Saturday, and then I leave that following Friday to the UK or Europe or whatever you want to call it, and then I get off the plane and go straight to a show in Kettering, and then it's off to the races. So yeah, yippee ki yay!
How long are you going to be in overseas?
Too long. No, I think it's like 5 or 6 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I stress myself thin to the point of like, all right, like if you're gonna do it, you do it big. So like it's a hustle just like it is here, because like that's another thing a lot of people don't realize. Bookings just don't fucking fall in your mailbox. A lot of, even me who's a veteran, quotations, I still hustle, I still grind, I still work, I still get my name out there. I'm still trying to do as much as possible to get the Gary J brand anywhere and everywhere possible, because I'm my own what's the word, like I'm my own boss.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm lazy at something, I don't get where I want to be, like who am I going to fire? Myself. So I mean, it's a one-man fucking show when it comes to like that aspect of it.
Well, if you beat Mikey on scouting and take the IWGuide belt, make it a world title.
Exactly. I'll wheel that thing after sheets right on the plane.
Oh my. You do have 2 shirts available right now through Gorilla Press Apparel at .bigcartel.com. So if you're interested in getting an unsigned Don't Care shirt, there's 2 of them on there.
My partners in crime, Anakin and Aaron Williams. And if you don't know who Aaron Williams and Anakin Murphy is, Google or just YouTube or Twitter. I don't know. What do people do? Do people TikTok wrestling matches? I don't know.
They do.
They
People
don't-
do a lot of shit.
I don't think they do, but you know what? I use TikTok like in a really weird way. I just scroll endlessly. But you'll probably get to see them if you're coming to Neo Pro. I think like this is just the start of something with Unsigned Don't Care to potentially start showing up at Neo Pro and doing stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely. Like I love going, new places, and I've heard nothing but good things. So like I'm excited to kind of jump on the ship and fuck some shit up.
Yeah. All right. Jayhawk.
Follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok at RefJayhawk, Instagram at Jayhawk1539. Saturday, Neopro, White Noise, Canton. I'll be there. Go.
I hope so. Who's going to count to 3 when I win?
Exactly. Who's going to take that destroyer bump? That's going to have to be
Fuck
you,
you,
Jayhawk.
Jay Gold.
Hey, let's go over it on the floor before the show. You'll be fine.
I think Jayhawk wants to take some chops. That's what I heard. He wants
That's what I heard.
do the accidental chops, like You
No,
get poked in the eye and
I'm at
light
the
'em
age
up
where I
in the
take
corner.
3 bumps a year, and I've already taken one of them. I mean, I've only got 2 left for the rest of the year. So.
Well, it looks like they're gonna get fucking thrown out there on Saturday.
I got nothing this week. Just come to Neo Pro and support everybody and have a good time. It's going to be fun.
I'll
Say
be
hi
at
to
the.
me.
Go ahead. Sorry,
Say
Gary.
hi to me at the merch table and buy all my merch.
Yes, sir.
All the merch.
I don't want to have anything left.
So buy it all. He's going to Europe. Buy it all.
Yeah,
so
I need to
change
buy
the money.
stuff
Yes.
in Europe.
Right. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at jgold12. I will be at that J Cup tournament this weekend, sitting up in the balcony.
Fucking baller too, though. So.
Yeah, they're fun every year. I'll be up there in the balcony of the White Eagle Hall in Jersey City. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to us, and our Twitter handle IWGuide1, patreon.com/IWGuide. Don't forget about the merch store over at Brainbuster Tees and Gorilla Press Apparel. Use code IWGP24 when you check out when you buy 2 or more items for $20 off your entire order. That's our buddy Will. Listen to our podcast friends and our network, the Main Event Wrestling Network. Hey, everybody join in. Join their Twitter. We're about, and I say us because we're on the network, we're about 45 followers away from 1,000 on the Main Event Network. Listen to the Wrestling Junkies and On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. I am also doing the Main Event Mixer on Saturday night with those guys. So I'll be doing the NXT pre-show with them at 4:00, and then I'll be jumping in the car and going to the J Cup. Listen to At Odds with Wrestling. The card is going to change. The Super Fantastic Podcast, Marks with Mikes, and our other friends, Time Capsule Toys, Toy Hio, Rubber City Toys, Neo Pro Wrestling, and Pally's Beef Jerky from our very own Kaplan. Go buy some of that. That's the best beef jerky in all of Ohio and the Northeast, I would say, Northeast Ohio. That's all I got this week, Gary. Again, thank you. You are the man. Butters?
Life short. Watch more indie wrestling.
See ya.